What is trance? What is a trance state? Have you ever wondered if you can be hypnotized? Have you wondered what the uses of hypnosis are and does it work on everybody? The mystery of hypnosis and the trance state coming up in just a moment.
Welcome to the Best Years Podcast. This is Dr. Darlene at whatstopsyou.com. Are you a teenager or a young parent, baby boomer, or in your golden years? The best years are now, in each stage of development. So I've got power tools for you today that will help you make amazing changes so you can show up in the world with your amazingness.
Hi, everyone. Podcast time. And I think what's important today? What is it that people want? What is it that I would like to share? And I've been having clients ask for different types of hypnotic suggestions lately in terms of weight loss, in terms of relationships, for getting triggers, releasing them, relationships, and a lot of things. And they always ask me, what is hypnosis? And so years ago, I wrote an article so I wouldn't have to explain it over and over to everybody. I thought, okay, here's an article that sums it all up, and you can go ahead and read that and then get back with me, and then let's get busy and do some really great work. So I'm thinking that this article is really poignant. I looked over my articles on my website, and they're really good. I think they're really good because they're very poignant. And this one on hypnosis, what I want to do is read it to you. And I read you some other articles that I have, and then I elaborate at the end. So I'm going to go ahead and read this article to you. Let's see, on my website, it's called The Mystery of Hypnosis, Fact or Fiction. And as I read it, I'll maybe stop and add some things and then add at the end for you. So get ready to learn about what hypnosis is and what hypnosis is not, how it works and how it doesn't. It's quite informative. The old black and white movies show the hypnotist with his swinging crystal on a chain, the pendulum waving back and forth until he has control of his subject's mind. The awaited command is finally given. Kill him. The zombie opens his glazed eyes and in his altered state rises to complete his assigned mission. His robotical motions propel him towards the task that will not be defeated until he has dispersed blood and left the lifeless body in the river. I don't know why I started that way, I guess to get people's attention. But yeah, that's what we think of when we think of hypnosis. I used to think of it that way. The mystery of hypnosis is as old as the ages. What is it? How does it occur? And is it indeed factual? A trance is a common and natural state. Everyone experiences different levels of trance many times each day, every day. I added that. Whether it is driving to work or using the computer. Let me explain. What is hypnosis? Hypnosis is a deeper, guided state of trance that induces a state of relaxation with a conscious mind clear and the unconscious mind open and receptive to change at a very deep level. It's a state of mind that goes into the nothing. The mind is just open and nowhere. When in a trance, the body feels light or as if the body is absent. And by the way, it's a really, really cool feeling as though you don't even have a body. Another form of trance is a state of heightened receptivity, internal focus and concentration where the rest of the world is shut off. It's a beautiful thing. You may say, I can't be hypnotized. And I'm going to tell you right now, that's false. The idea is false. You can't be hypnotized. The correct statement is, quote, I won't allow someone to guide me into a state of hypnosis, unquote. It's important to note that with permission and permission only, can a hypnotist guide a client to this state and offer suggestions that will seep deeply and quickly into the unconscious. Just as one cannot make another go into the state of sleep, no one can make another go into a state of trance. You would not say, I'm sorry, you know what, I just can't go to sleep. You wouldn't say that. You would say, I can't be made to go to sleep. If one has permission to guide the other into a state of sleep, then they may gently say calming phrases, rub their arm, or use their methods to induce the sleep. Only with permission in the same way can someone guide another person into a trance with permission, because all humans do it all the time. Humans have the most advanced brain of the entire world. Human minds have something called the critical factor. The critical factor is one's reasoning between the conscious and the unconscious mind. I love this. The critical factor is always in place to keep you safe and in line with your moral boundaries. No hypnotist can make another person do anything they're not actually willing to do because of this. So because of the critical factor, the behaviors, even at an unconscious level, you can't do something you wouldn't normally do. Therapeutic hypnotherapists use permission and value-based inductions. Now, induction means getting you into that state of trance, what they say, whether you're going down an elevator, escalator, whether you're relaxing, whether you're seeping into your bed, or however, and that's called an induction, kind of a way to get you to relax. And they say words you want to hear and agree with, such as while you relax, for a very good purpose, you've come here today, or as you notice what's important in your life, or as you allow yourself to relax 10 times more. So let's talk about stage hypnosis. Now, stage hypnosis is very different from therapeutic hypnosis. Stage hypnotherapists use an authoritarian method. It's more commanding, it's more aggressive. They give commands rather than suggestions, like you will hold on to this rope, or you will stand up, etc. Now you will not, or you will. And some people are way more predisposed to authoritarian-based hypnosis, while others are more suggestible to permission-based hypnosis. The stage hypnotherapist has 4 parts of the screening process that sift out participants. This is really cool, to get the outgoing, outrageous personalities on stage, and they sort out those who would not continue to be fun for the show. It's brilliant. So here are the 4 ways they do that. In fact, in my training in hypnosis, we actually went to a presentation, a stage hypnotherapist presentation, some mastermind, something, and then we went home and unpacked it and talked about it and discovered these 4 steps. So let me read the 4 steps to you. Number 1, the hypnotist invites only those who want to come on stage. People who are not show-offs do not come on stage. So when he says, everybody come up who wants to do it, you're not going to get the shy people. You're only going to be getting the people who are show-offs or more outgoing. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. Number 2, the hypnotherapist gives a command such as hold the rope tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter. And while he's doing it, he notices who is suggestible to that authoritarian command. All of those that are not suggestible to that, like look at him like, who the heck are you telling me what to do? He throws them off stage. 3, they notice who has a fun, entertaining personality. And if they don't, they're asked to leave the stage. So those who are getting kicked off aren't fun, and those that are still on are thinking, oh no. And they're kind of noticing, I think I need to obey this guy to stay on the stage. So they try harder. And it's just kind of an interesting sorting thing. Number 4, the hypnotherapist notices who is attentive, who can just let go of caring, go into a trance and be obedient. If they're not, they're kicked off the stage. Brilliant. The remaining participants on stage are the ones that allow the show to go on. If someone does not contribute to the show, during the show, the hypnotist systematically has them leave the stage. Yes, the participants on stage are actually, yes, they are in a deep state of hypnosis. Yes, they are hypnotized. And yes, it is real, but they kind of tried during the opening suggestibility part. They were kind of trying harder, some of them were, to stay on the stage. The audience is simply not aware of the hypnotherapist's masterful screening process. It's brilliant. So it appears that he has just grabbed a group of random people and is able to control their minds, when in actuality, there is no control going on, only a permission-based trance with the appropriate levels of suggestibility. I love this. Keep in mind, that mind control or brainwashing and hypnosis are completely different. Webster defines brainwashing as, quote, a forcible indoctrination to induce someone to give up basic political, social, or religious belief and attitudes and to accept contrasting regimented ideas, unquote. Okay, so first of all, brainwashing can't really be forced unless, well, let's say that every time I'm adding this in here. Every time you do that, I'm going to smack you. Or every time you don't relax, I don't know. Brainwashing to me occurs over time, and I'll talk about that a little bit more. Now, this may happen over time. Oh, that's what it says in the article. As someone is led to believe something on both the conscious and unconscious levels. And most specifically when one is young and formidable. For example, let's say you were taught that on each Thursday, in order to please God, you were to jump up and down before the fireplace 5 times and shout, "Praise the Lord." You may begin to believe this as you watch your whole family do it, do this ritual over and over during the years. So that's not necessarily mind control. It may be called environmentally formed beliefs. Some may call it brainwashing, and some may call it training. You're being trained that way over and over, and so you can call it brainwashing. That's just a term some people use. Hypnosis would not be necessary to accomplish that belief formation, and you don't need to be in a trance to be, quote, brainwashed. So it's different. Meditation now is a form of self-hypnosis. This is the best, where one is self-guided into a relaxed and heightened state of concentration. So you guide yourself to relax and focus and let go. They may have a predetermined mantra or an affirmation that they say or think to themselves, while meditating. And in this state of trance, suggestions implant deeper into the inner workings of the mind. This is a wonderful process for self-development and inner power. Hypnosis is powerful and effective when hypnosis is combined with other action-oriented methods. Possibilities of success are endless. And then it says, call your hypnotherapist and schedule your impactful session today. So what would you want hypnosis for? Let's see. What would the needs be for a person? I have had millions of clients. I'm thinking we're into the thousands and millions of clients I've seen over 20 years. And not always do they call up and say, I want to do hypnosis. And sometimes when they do, I don't always use it first. I'll use an NLP strategy, which you can Google that one. NLP, Nancy Larry Paul, stands for Neuro-Linguistic Programming. And there's many, many strategies. I use hypnosis when we want to bypass all thinking and just implant something that they're choosing to have implanted, such as love for a mother-in-law or forgiveness for this, or a lot of smoking issues and weight loss. I use it for a lot. Now, there's something called ecology. You can write that down as a new term. Ecology is when parts of you are arguing with each other. That would be called what? Self-sabotage. So part of me wants to smoke and part of me doesn't. So I had a man who wanted to be hypnotized not to smoke. But before we did hypnosis, we worked on ecology. And then we found out, we traced it back that the reason he smoked, the origination of when he smoked was when he was 12. His dad called him over and said, son, you're a man now, and gave him a cigarette. So now, unconsciously, he's not a man unless he smokes. So once I knew that, then bam, we could do hypnosis right away and take care of that. And he could still be a man. If you go into hypnosis before you understand the ecology or the part of you that objects or the part of you or the reason that you're doing something or not doing something, then it will just act out in a different weird way. So he may do another thing that makes him be a man instead of smoking. So it's not clean and pure. So I like to be very efficient and thorough in my work. I always check out the ecology first. Another one with smoking is that every time he stopped smoking, his mouth was cleaner, etc., and he'd look around at other women. So he was always afraid that if he stopped smoking, that he'd have an affair on his wife. So unconsciously, he chose to continue to smoke. So there it is. The ecology, the reason he smoked was a positive intent to keep him loyal to his wife. Logically, that doesn't make sense, but unconsciously, it does. And I am your unconscious mind specialist, and I help you communicate between your conscious and unconscious mind so they get along. I've had many with weight loss issues. So here's the thing. Many times, if a person just loses weight and all of a sudden you're 50 to 100 pounds lighter today, let's say, and you walk out the door and you're sexy and darling, for many women, then they're afraid men will come on to them. So they keep their weight unconsciously so that men won't come on to them inappropriately. So when I find the ecology out and I find that out, boom, which by the way takes about 10 minutes, sometimes a half a session, then I can perform the hypnotic process of relaxation and open mind to achieve the outcome of having the body they want, a thinner, beautiful body, and set boundaries and not let men come out onto them even though they're sexy and beautiful. So you've got to keep that ecology piece alive and well, or the hypnosis, the person will come out kind of acting out in a different way because they want to lose weight. But then there's this part of them that's a protection. So we help them be protected in a new way and lose weight. Bam. It's a beautiful thing. You know, there's many times people ask me, can you really remember things under hypnosis like they do on my soap opera? When Dr. Marlena Evans on Days of Our Lives hypnotizes people and they remember stuff. Is that true? And the answer is, well, comma, pause, depends on the person and the hypnotherapist. And if it was me, I would say yes, if you were suggestible and open, and we acknowledged the ecology that if you did have the memory, you would be safe. So let's say you were abused and you want to remember it. Well, I would go through beforehand how you will be safe when you remember. And as you remember on a conscious level, what was unconscious before, you notice and remember how safe you are now in this room with me on this date, and how quickly and easily you have resources to know how powerful you are as you remember consciously and only in your mind what happened with no body memory, but just the remembrance in your mind for a very good purpose. You remember. So we make sure that we take care of that unconscious need to be safe. I had a client that wanted to remember an accident she had. She was very scarred on her face and throat, and her throat was damaged. So she talked like that and had a big scar down her mouth, down to her neck. And she walked with a limp. And she did not remember how that happened. I think she was around 30 something. This was years ago. And she never knew what happened. Everyone said, oh, you just got, I can't remember what they told her, but it wasn't exactly accurate. It was something about you fell down or something that was mild. And she thought, why, if I just fell down or whatever it was, would I be so injured? And so she came to me, I want to remember. Okay. What would happen if you remembered? What if you were abused? What if it was someone you loved that cut you? Would you be okay? What would it take for you to be okay if and when you remember? Because you will, and what will it take? Or maybe you want to not remember. What does it matter? Maybe the outcome isn't memory. Maybe the outcome is that you just want to you're curious. So maybe we don't need to remember. And we had a couple sessions discussing that. And finally she says, okay, I'm ready. And that's the ecology piece that was safe. Through a values induction, which means I take the values of the person, such as love, trust, hope, faith, love, acceptance, all that. Through an induction, using the words that resonated with her with honor and respect, as she trusted me, and more than that, she trusted herself, I guided her into a very safe, deep state of nothingness in her mind, allowing herself to go very, very deep into relaxation and nothing in her mind. And then how powerful the mind is and how our unconscious mind remembers everywhere we've been, everything we've ever done, every single thing we've ever seen or heard is in the unconscious mind now. And as we retrieve what's important for a very good purpose, you go back to the date of da-da-da. And then I went into this suggestible phrase of for a very good purpose, you remember this day. And then she remembered holding a towel or something. And so I had her go step by step, slowly into each step with her foot and slowing everything down. And I had her in a state, she had herself in a state where she could actually talk to me, and what she saw was a car. And as you see the car safely, knowing you're safe with me in this room, you notice what happens then and what happens then. And so what happened is she completely and utterly remembered a car coming and hitting her, flipping her over the roof, and the towel flying by. And this is the memory she always had, was the towel. And that's all she had, was a towel. So through hypnosis, I'm just smiling right now. It's just so thrilling to know this skill to guide someone to this place where she remembered every single thing. The towel flipped over her head. The car did this. She did this. She rolled. The basket did this. She dropped this. She rolled here and she ended up here. Then who was not there? Then who was there? And she remembered every single step and stage of the accident. And as she did that, I says, and as you smile through your memory, knowing you're safe now, it's interesting to know that your unconscious has that ability to remember all the things that are important to you now. And then I had her gently come back to the room. And she came back with a really big smile, but also looking up in the air like, that's interesting. Wonder why my parents lied to me. And so then that's another story. And she confronted her family, and there are false memories, and that's a whole nother subject as well that can happen. And so anyway, she was really good to go, and it was a fabulous thing. And the power of hypnosis is alive and well done right. Implanted memories, I'll comment that if the hypnotherapist said language such as, and then pretty soon you're going to hear a car and you're going to see the car coming closer to you, what happens when your stepdad is yelling at you? So then it's called leading the witness, which is what they do in court incorrectly. If that occurs, is leading the witness, don't do that. And a hypnotherapist should never lead the witness like that. It's called nominal. No, it's not. It's called, I can't remember the word, but you don't put anything in. Well, nominalization is anything that fits in a wheelbarrow that's tangible. And as a hypnotherapist, we do not lead the witness. We say, notice what you notice. See what you see. Notice if you hear anything, or what you see, if anything, or what you hear, if anything. So it's very guided by the client rather than the hypnotherapist leading the witness or putting any words in their mouth. And that's really the ethics of a hypnotherapist. So as you now step back and you think about your issues and what you need and what you would like to understand more about, talk therapy is fabulous. It's usually the first thing I would recommend. Then there's the NLP visualization kind of therapy. There's psychoanalysis to go back to the inner child. And there's a bunch of ways to do that one. I could do a couple 100 podcasts on processes of psychoanalysis. There's CBT, cognitive behavioral processes, which is cognitive is what are you thinking? How can you think differently, etc. So there's a lot of different types of therapies and modalities to use to heal. And what you need to do is you need to, first of all, recognize there's a problem, and two, get the mojo to call a healer helper and find someone you rapport with. Check them out on the web, see if you rapport with their personality, if you want someone aggressive, assertive, action-oriented, or do you want someone that's just going to listen behavioralistically and sit back and listen to your issues, etc. So it's nice to know we have each other. It's nice to know that all of us together make the world go round, and it's just exciting. I know I call a colleague or helper at least once a month to just maybe talk something through or just say, yo, I need a process. All helpers need helpers. And the world is beautiful as we reach out for what we need. And so I wish you well today, and I hope that you understand hypnosis a little better. Let me know if there's anything I can help you with and any more questions that you have. Thank you for listening. Have a great rest of the day, and we'll talk soon.
If you like what you've heard, please subscribe to my channel so we can hang out. Also, go to whatstopsyou.com for notes to this podcast, more articles, and more tips so you can indeed live the best years of your life now.